Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has left the country along with members of his family. It follows months of mass protests over the economic crisis the island is in. His formal resignation is expected to be announced possibly within the next half hour. The BBC understands the president's military jet has landed in Malé, the capital of the Maldives. He'd been in hiding after protesters stormed his residence on Saturday. Our South Asia correspondent Ranil Wickremesinghe sends this report from Colombo.
Many Sri Lankans feel that leaving is their only option. In a crisis defined by endless waits, hundreds queue for passports. A chance to leave their troubled homeland in search of something better. Many trying to make it to the Middle East. Like Vasana, who's hoping she'll find work as a cleaner to support her 6-year-old.
How do you feel about wanting to leave Sri Lanka? Your heart is in Sri Lanka. She says she's going because she's struggling to even get food, and that's one of the reasons why she's trying to find work in Kuwait.
Me, I'm planning to go to UK. We don't see any future. So that's basically we want to move from this country. For our kids, not for us.
There's been a lot of pressure for President Rajapaksa to step down. Did you vote for him?
Actually, we voted for him. Yeah. We voted for him and we never expected this. Actually, we thought he's our savior.
And it's not just these crowds who are trying to leave the country. The very people who are blamed for creating this economic crisis, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his family members, are also trying to flee the island.
This video is believed to have been recorded at the airport as former Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa was stopped at immigration. He finally left, said to be heading to America. His brother, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, has now also fled. A ruthless politician, accused of brutality and corruption, part of a family dynasty which has ruled Sri Lanka for decades. Once popular, now parodied, Gotabaya Rajapaksa is blamed for the country's economic woes.
He's brought this country to its knees. We have no food to eat. We have no food. The basic human necessities are missing. And that's thanks to these people and this one family which has been basically draining all the sources of income that we have.
Lining up for a peek inside the presidential palace. Days after Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled his home, he's now left the country. Ranil Wickremesinghe, BBC News, Colombo.
Well, let's talk to Anbarasan Thirajan, who's live for us in Colombo. And there must be many questions, Anbarasan, about how he was able to leave.
The Sri Lankan Air Force issued a statement a short while ago saying that as an executive president, he had the authority to use a military plane and which he used to land in the capital of the Maldives, Malé, last night. And there are questions how he was allowed to go, but then immigration authorities were saying that as they cannot stop a president, but they can stop anyone else. But now, the protest site behind me, they're full of people. People have been coming since morning after hearing the news that Mr. Rajapaksa has already left the country. As of now, you don't have a president for this country, and various political leaders, including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, are trying to find out what steps can be taken, how the government can be restored. And the main road along this Gold Face Green, where you see hundreds of people have been coming, and in the last few minutes, we also hear that protesters have gone to the residence of the Prime Minister and the police were using batons to disperse them. So there could be more violence today in case if the political change is not acceptable to the protesters behind me. And there are also chances of police imposing a curfew, but these needs to be confirmed. But at the moment, the protesters behind me, they are celebrating.
And although he has already left the country, the formal resignation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa hasn't been received yet, but we are expecting that might be quite soon.
He had announced that he would step down by today, that's Wednesday, after huge crowds stormed his official residence just about 100 meters from where I am standing now. But there was a lot of speculation about whether he submitted this resignation letter or not, because only after he resigns, the Prime Minister can take over as the President. But we still don't know whether the letter has been given or officially when this will be released. On various reports suggest that Mr. Rajapaksa might go to a third country. He may not stay in the Maldives itself. But what brought these people is the issue of cost of living, which is affecting many countries around the world. That started as a protest against escalating prices and the allegations of mismanagement of the economy. Now, that has forced the President Rajapaksa to step down. The previous Prime Minister, his elder brother, was also forced to resign in April. And the current Prime Minister, we don't know how long he is going to stay in power. So this is causing a lot of political instability, making it difficult for the country to ask for international assistance to come out of this crisis.
And Barasan in a very lively Colombo. Thank you very much. And Barasan Ethirajan.